PARSHAS Lech Lacha. We as traditional Jews, our whole life ideology is rooted in the Torah. We say every day, the only blessing other than Birchas Hamazon that is a blessing from the Torah, the blessing over the gift of the Torah. What identifies us as being the chosen nation, more than any other gift that Hashem bestowed upon us, is the gift of the Torah. Our ultimate goal in life is kaviyachol, to think like Hashem thinks, to speak like Hashem speaks, to act like Hashem acts. Our source of this information is the Torah. This was the plan from the beginning. However, the Ramchal in Derech Hashem explains that this was not limited to the Jewish nation. This was the plan for mankind as a whole. As time went on, and mankind was unable to live up to Hashem's expectations, he narrowed the focus of his plan. How did the Ramchal come to this conclusion? The Torah was his ideological guideline. The Torah begins with the history of mankind. Mankind is blessed with enormous longevity to fulfill the plan to the ultimate. 10 generations go by, and Hashem brings a flood to destroy mankind, shortens their lifespan, hoping that these changes would humble them to use their lives more purposefully. In Pirkei Avos, Ethics of the Fathers, it states, Asor Doros me Adam ad Noach. There were 10 generations from Adam to Noach. Lo dia kama erech hapayim lefanov, to indicate how much patience Hashem has. Shekol hadoros hayu mach'isin uvayin. All the generations angered him, and then he brought upon them the flood. Asara doros me Noach ad Avram. Again, lo dia kama erech hapayim. Those generations tried Hashem's patience in the same way. Ad sheba Avram v'kibel olav schar kulam, until our forefather Abraham came and received the reward for all of them. The flood was a clear indication that the first 10 generations angered Hashem with their behavior. However, where do we see in the Torah that the next 10 generations did the same? Chazal actually describe the first 2,000 years of the 6,000 destined to exist as the years of Tohu, of nothingness, explained by Rashi as ignorance of Torah. The second 2,000 are the years of Torah. The Gemara questions as to when those years began. The Gemara concludes that it could not have been from the giving of the Torah because there would not be sufficient time. Therefore, the Gemara calculates the beginning from the life of Avraham. V'nefesh asher asu b'charan, those souls created by Avram and Sarah even before they came to Eretz Yisrael. However, this presents us with a major difficulty. How can one teach something he doesn't possess? If the Torah was given only much later, how did Avram teach something that he wasn't in possession of? The answer to this question fundamentally refutes the claim of the atheistic element of the scientific world. They claim modern science does away with the need for religion because we can prove things rationally and empirically. This we must assume Avram Avinu did as well. He was able to influence mankind and brought about such a major change in the way people thought and lived that Rabbeinu Yonah said he prevented another major world cataclysm, the likes of the flood, and the end of the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos states he received the reward of all those generations. Clearly, the gift of the Torah to the Jewish people was the ultimate reward for figuring out the truth without the benefit of the Torah. How? Through Bechina, seeing the plan, purpose, and design in all of creation. He rose to such greatness through his studies that he merited to be a Navi, a prophet. Hashem communicated to him 10 times in his lifetime. It is no wonder that the Rambam states at the beginning of the 2nd chapter of Hilchos Yesodei HaTorah that for one to fulfill the mitzvahs, to love and fear Hashem, he should study the wonders of creation. We were zoche, additionally, to the great Musar work of Chovos HaLevavos that devoted a great part of his Sefer to the study of Bechina. However, in our generation, our great Musar Rebbe, Harav Avigdor Miller Zatzal, elevated this pursuit to the highest level, actually spending much time retracing the steps of our forefather Avraham, how he achieved his greatness through this pursuit. It is important to realize that the impact of his teachings was not only realized by his progeny, but all of mankind. All the great scientists that lived as part of the scientific revolution until Darwin reinforced their faith, whether in Christianity or Islam, by way of scientific achievement. Let's delve into a few examples. Abraham Avinu saw the wondrous plan, purpose, and kindness in fruits. One could ask why in the Torah the first mention of food is fruit. Fruits are nutritious, but one would think grains, the staff of life, should be mentioned first. The answer is that fruits come off the tree, a finished product. We could deceive ourselves about grain, that Hashem knows how to create raw materials, but it is man's input that is needed to make it a finished product. To dismiss such an idea, fruit is mentioned instead. In addition, they have a variety of colors, making them not only nutritious, but delectable to the eye. Let's examine an orange, the way our forefather Avram would have examined it. All of us would sign on the dotted line to commit our lives to Torah study if oranges would grow from a tree in Tropicana containers. There would be no denying a plan and a design. However, that would not be taking into consideration an enormous ecological problem. How do you dispose of the containers after you finish the juice? Also, how would you know if the fruit was ready to consume? You just see a beautiful container that may contain juice, that its acids and bases are not yet balanced. At the least, eating or drinking would cause a sour stomach. Too much acid to balance the pH. The other problem would be, if you wanted some extra fiber in your diet, drinking juice wouldn't help that much. Certainly for a fever, juice is the best way to consume the fruit, since it does not tax the system with added digestion. However, it does not provide fiber. Also, if your family would grow and the amount of fruit on the existing tree is not sufficient, what would you do to have more? All these problems are resolved by Hashem's amazing designing. First of all, there is no ecological problem because after you peel the fruit, you can dispose of it in your backyard. The soil bacteria will reconstitute it to soil and actually replenish the soil that was depleted to produce the fruits of that year. As long as the fruit is not ripe, the fruit remains green to hide behind the leaves, indicating it is not ready yet to be eaten. It indicates constant progress reports to know when it will be ready to eat. Notice these changes take place on the outside of the peel, not inside where it is not necessary. In addition, as long as the orange is not ready, the fruit clings to the tree and the peel clings to the fruit, making it difficult to consume. If your family grows to the point where you need more trees, each fruit comes with a tiny bitter seed. The taste discourages you from eating it and instead plant it in your garden. Are you sure you don't want to sign up to learn Torah? Is Tropicana's designing and advertising as sophisticated as Hashem's? Avraham Avinu studied billions of phenomena, many even more complex than the orange, until he was so convinced of Hashem's endless wisdom, but even more how it translates into his endless love and kindliness to mankind. He became the greatest ambassador in the history of mankind and earned for him and his children an eternal bond with Hashem that is ultimately experienced to its greatest level in the afterlife.